Good morning, and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early AF at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, at 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Guys, today we are talking about service and how service, though complicated, especially when you need service for your own self, is extraordinarily effective way to enhance productivity. So thanks for being with us. If you're new, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com, see about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. If you are new, allow me to say a few words about myself. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher, author of the New York Times bestsellers Raising Fences, author of the acclaimed historical novel Americas, author of the Pulitzer Prize-nominated animating Black and Brown Liberation, A Theory of American Literatures. I am the board president of a great nonprofit here in Los Angeles called The World Stage. It's incredible arts and arts education venue 7 days a week, pre-COVID. Now we're online streaming largely. Workshops, workshops, drumming, vocalizing, jazz, orchestra, writing workshops. Just a really extraordinary organization here in LA's Crenshaw District. My educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergrad. My master's is from UCLA, and my PhD in English Lit is from the University of California at Riverside. Guys, I'm an expert at being productive, all right? I don't say that to brag or boast. I say it because people are oftentimes surprised to hear that story when they hear about my crazy background. I am the product of a young girl who was assaulted at age 16, gave birth to me at age 17 as a result of that assault, then subsequently gave me up for adoption to a single amazing divorcee. Yet at the time, no biological father, no adopted father. Yo, difficult times for the young MD at his cool. Mo D famously said, "How you like me now," right? And if I can be this productive and be so through joy, I know many other people can as well, which is what really inspires this show, because I know it's not where you're from, it's where you're about to go. So thanks for joining us. You know, we're talking about service right now on today's show. An important topic because, especially now, because many people are in need. And so point one is that, however, service begins at home where you stand, right? In your family, or what I would say, your community, for your ancestors, for yourself. But however you conceptualize the idea of home. And that's important because you can be more of service if your home situation is tight, is together, right? If you're able to be grounded and focused in your own life, in your own community, as you go out and help other people as well. So that's point one. Point two is that you will, as you begin to then leave that immediate we and begin to serve the broader community or society or the planet or whatever, have justice and more broader ideas that many of us are currently engaged in. What you'll find, though, is that oftentimes people will take your service for granted, or they'll literally try to exploit your service. I had a situation with a colleague of mine, really heartbreaking, you know. Oftentimes for those of us who are in this work, you know, we're just out doing it. We're oftentimes super busy. You know, we have many things happening. We've got families. We are various types of organizations. So, you know, we're about the work. Now, of course, there are those who are about the photo op and other reasons. I don't really know those people well. That's not how the folks who I know operate. But for those who are like serious about it, you know, we are about the work. So we're oftentimes pretty busy, you know, and we're just out doing this work, this service, and then we aren't really always paying attention because the people in our lives we expect, you know, are operating ethically and appreciative or whatever. They're just in a good space. I've just been noticing lately, because I have not been paying very much attention to people's response to my service who are kind of in my larger circle. Meaning, you know, because I don't serve, I don't give and do what I do I don't look to get things back. That's not the point of the service. At the same time, though, you know, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to have my service be taken for granted. I don't want to be exploited and thought to be a chump either, you know. And so with the folks who are in my circle, I don't even think at that level. I just serve and you know, expect, you know, eventually it all comes back to you. Although that's not why I actually do it. Anyway, and so recently I had a situation with a colleague of mine who it dawned upon me, because we had this really terrible conversation, which he basically admitted that, you know, he was taking my service for granted to him, exploiting kind of our friendship. It was just really hurtful. And so the response to that is it makes you, and I've had a series of situations over the past recent years that some version of that has happened, So I've been trying to pay more attention to, still trying to serve with a good spirit, but paying more attention to people who are just taking, who are not giving. Because one of the ideas behind service is that you circulate it. It comes to you, then you circulate it. Then the idea is that they'll circulate it, the folks you are serving will pass it forward. And then someone else gets served, and then eventually it all comes back to you. Although that isn't why you do it. That's one of the benefits of service. It eventually comes back to you. Because I'm also a part of this world as well. I also need help and service like everyone else. But this colleague really reminded me, he said, I'm here to take, basically. That's what I do. And a few other situations I've had in recent years where people have just been taking, but I've been slow to recognize it because, I'm not looking for that, frankly. But the point, though, is that it's made me want to retract some, pull back some. And from those individuals, yes, so that person's in a different lane now. He's not in the friend category anymore. He's in the associate category, or some of the, which I haven't really clearly defined yet. But a person like that can't be in my inner circle. But I see him. He can be an associate. I wish him well. But I don't want to have someone like that who has an attitude close to me, because I have to think about their, what they're doing or their motives, or I have to watch my back. I don't want to be watching my back when I'm having a friendship. It's too much work. And that's okay, but practically it's also made me want to pull back from service overall. And the point of this long meandering point is that at times when you serve, although you have the best intentions and you're doing it from a great space, people respond to it in ways that really hurt you and that disappoint you. And so the inclination is to pull back. And at times, it's okay to pull back at times. But it also makes you think about why you're doing it. And so, which goes right into point 3. As you're serving, you want to keep close to you why you're serving. Like, what's the motivation behind the service? And you want to keep what I would say your motives pure. Because you're going to encounter those people who take it for granted, who have a terrible attitude, who are just takers in general. And you don't want those people in your inner circle. You just don't want that in your life. But don't let that stop you from being of service, because it's important to serve, and people have probably served you throughout your life, which is why you are at where you are right now. And so, boom, goes the dynamite. That's all for today's show, guys. Thanks for listening. We air each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, and 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Until then, this afternoon. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.